Good morning, everybody. Welcome to worship with the community of First Unitarian Church of Omaha. Whether you're a visitor or a longtime member, we are glad to have you with us. Our community is a rainbow of gender and sexual identities. It's a community of diverse cultural and class backgrounds. We draw from many sources of inspiration and share common liberal values. Whatever is on your heart, whatever it is with your soul in this moment, whether tears have fallen from your eyes this past week or gleeful laughter has spilled out of your smiling mouth, whether you are feeling brave or brokenhearted, defiant or defeated, fearsome or fearful, you are beloved and you are welcome here. In this space of welcome and acceptance, commitment and recommitment, of covenant and connection, let us worship together. Each week we acknowledge that where we meet for worship as the First Unitarian Church of Omaha is the land of the Omaha Oto Nations, and that indigenous people in the greater community have become marginalized and made invisible. May we recognize their presence among us and work with them to resolve the issues of poverty, displaced children, and murdered and missing Indigenous women, the MMIW. We invite you also to join us in fellowship after this service in the common room for coffee, pastries, and enjoy an art display of images of natural light and color by Tom Foster, who is a past church president, friend of the church, and now resides in Colorado. A portion of the art sales will be donated to the general operating budget of First Unitarian Church. So everybody is welcome. And our opening music is The Loom.
All my thoughts were filled with
Thank you, Katrina. That was beautiful. She tells me that was a Welsh folk song. And now we're going to light our chalice. This is our speaker, Dustin. I'm going to have him light the chalice. Spark of the Spirit, cupped in earth's embrace, light of love, alive in all creation. As we kindle this flame, we rekindle our connection to the sacred web of life. And I have a story for all ages. Next. Does anybody want to come up front for the story? All right. This story is Everybody Needs a Rock by Bird Baylor, and it has pictures by Peter Parnall. And Dustin brought the book and is donating it to our library. And I think it's a great story because I agree everybody needs a rock. And I brought my favorite rock with me. Everybody needs a rock. I'm sorry for kids who don't have a rock for a friend. I'm sorry for kids who only have tricycles, bicycles, horses, elephants, goldfish, 3-room playhouses, fire engines, wind-up dragons, and things like that, if they don't have a rock for a friend. That's why I'm giving them my 10 rules for finding a rock. Not just any rock, I mean a special rock that you find yourself and keep as long as you can, maybe forever. If somebody says, "What's so special about that rock?" I don't even tell them. I don't. Nobody is supposed to know what's so special about another person's rock. All right, here are the rules. Number 1, if you can, go to a mountain made out of nothing but 100 million small, shiny, beautiful, roundish rocks. But if you can't, any place will do, even an alley, even a sandy road. When you're looking at rocks, don't let mothers or fathers or sisters or brothers or even best friends talk to you. You should choose a rock when everything is quiet. Don't let dogs bark at you or bees buzz at you. But if they do, don't worry. The worst thing you can do is go rock hunting when you are worried. Rule number 3, bend over, more, even more. You may have to sit on the ground with your head almost touching the earth. You have to look a rock right in the eye. Otherwise, don't blame me if you can't find a good one. Rule number 4, don't get a rock that is too big. You'll always be sorry. It won't fit in your hand right, and it won't fit in your pocket. See, mine fits just right in my hand. A rock as big as an apple is too big. A rock as big as a horse is much too big. Rule number 5, don't choose a rock that is too small. It will only be easy to lose, or a mouse might eat it, thinking that it is a seed. Believe me, that happened to a boy in Arizona once. Rule number 6, the size must be perfect. And I'm going to add perfect for your hand. It has to feel easy in your hand when you close your fingers over it. It has to feel jumpy in your pocket when you run. Some touch a rock 1,000 times a day. There aren't many things that feel as good as a rock, if the rock is perfect. Rule number 7, look for the perfect color. That could be a sort of pinkish gray with bits of silvery shine in it. Some rocks that look brown are really other colors, but you only see them when you squint and when the sun is just right. This one is amber. Another way to see colors is to dip your rock in a clear mountain stream if one is passing by. Rule number 8, the shape of the rock is up to you. There's a girl in Alaska who only likes flat rocks. Don't ask me why. I like them lumpy and shaped like South America. The thing to remember about shapes is this: any good rock looks good with 100 other rocks around it on a hill. But if your rock is going to be special, it should look good by itself in the bathtub. Rule number 9, always sniff a rock. Rocks have their own smells. Some kids can tell by sniffing whether a rock came from the middle of the earth, or from an ocean, or from a mountain, where wind and sun touched it every day for 1,000,000 years. You'll find out that grown-ups can't tell these things. Too bad for them. They just can't smell as well as kids can. Don't ask anybody to help you choose your rock. I've seen a lizard pick one rock out of a desert full of rocks and go sit there alone. I've seen a snail pass up 20 rocks and spend all day getting to the one it wanted. You have to make up your own mind. You'll know. All right, that's it. That's the 10 rules. If you think of any more, write them down yourself. I'm going to go out to play a game that takes just me and one rock to play, and that's Worship Associate. Because I happen to have my rock in my hand right now. All right, thanks for coming up for the story. All right, so since today is June 19th, I have a special Juneteenth prayer for us at this time. Juneteenth celebrates the day the last of those held in bondage in the United States were informed of their emancipation on June 19th, 1865. Today we commemorate with joy and thanksgiving the shouts of the slaves in Texas, it was Galveston, Texas, who at last heard a declaration of freedom. As we collectively reflect on the Juneteenth freedom celebration, now a federal holiday, we remember the words of Coretta Scott King that struggle is a never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it and win it in every generation. And so we pray together today that the ideal of our words match the practices of our lives. As Bell Hook wrote, the moment we choose to love, we begin to move toward freedom, to act in ways that liberate ourselves and others. That action is the testimony of love as the practice of freedom. Love is a combination of care, commitment, knowledge, responsibility, respect, and trust. May the divinity around us and within us shine a light on the power of justice, love, and freedom. Amen, and blessed be. And now, let us enter into a time of contemplation. Our speaker, Dustin Clayton, will lead us through a seated meditation. Dustin is a local conservationist leading nature hikes and environmental education through the beautiful Loess Hills for the Potawatomi Conservation Program. And after our meditation, we'll end with a sacred chant.
Good morning. What I'd like to do today is have us do a short meditation focused on the world tree or the tree of life. So what I'd like you to first do is place your feet firmly on the ground, both of your feet planted on the ground. Place your hands in your lap or on your knees. Now, roll your shoulders back. Tuck your chin in just a little bit. Close your eyes and breathe in deeply through the nose. So as you breathe in, feel the breath travel down your body into a spot deep in your belly, about 2 inches below and 2 inches behind your belly button. Breathe into that spot for a few moments. Feel any tension or tiredness in your limbs and your body, and just release that into the ground. Now breathe in very deeply, and on your next out-breath, feel roots springing from your seat, from your feet, deep, deep into the ground. On every out-breath, push those roots deeper into the earth. Feel them intertwining with the roots of the others around you, with the plants that used to live in this place and the plants that live here now. Feel the mycelium of the fungal network in the earth interlaced with yourself, and feel yourself a part of the earth. Breathe deeply like this. Now on your next out-breath, feel branches extending from your shoulders, your head, your back, high, high up into the sky. Feel leaves and buds, fruits and flowers sprouting from those branches and opening. Feel the wind in the leaves, feel the sun, the rain, the starlight, and the wind. As you breathe in, pull that sunlight into your belly, and as you breathe out, push that down into the roots. As you breathe in, pull moisture, minerals up from the earth into your belly, and as you breathe out, push that into the branches and the leaves. And just cycle through this for a few moments. Breathe in, sunlight, wind and rain. Breathe out, earth, water. Breathe in, minerals and moisture. Breathe out, branches and leaves. And whenever you're ready, breathe in deeply and pull those branches and leaves in from around you back into your belly. Breathe out. And as you breathe in, pull the roots up from the ground into your belly. And just breathe deeply into that spot there. Know that the tree of life is a part of you. Know that you're a part of it. And know that this tree is always accessible to you. And whenever you're ready, bring your consciousness back to waking consciousness and open your eyes. Thank you.
All right, Peg and I are just going to do a sacred chant about the leaves on the trees 3 times. And you're welcome to join. The words are, the leaves on the trees reach up to the sky as their roots reach down to the deep, dark earth. The leaves on the trees reach up to the sky as their roots reach down to the deep, dark earth. The leaves on the trees reach up to the skies as their roots reach down to the deep, dark earth. The leaves on the trees reach up to the sky as the roots reach down to the deep, dark earth. And now it's time for our community offering. Every week we take up an offering in support of our liberal religious values. 1/2 of the loose currency in the offering plate is donated to a different cause each month. One with a local presence which advances UU principles. So for June, our Share the Plate partner is Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, PFLAG, and it's the United States' largest organization for friends, families, allies, united with people who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, LGBTQ. And donations can also be made directly online to this organization. Just go to www.pflag-omaha.org and look for the donations link.
This
Now we come to a time in our service for sharing together our joys and concerns. We share our joys so that they may be multiplied, and our concerns so that our community can offer its care. Pat Will is on the mend and just got out of the hospital this week. Her daughter is staying with her and caring for her for a few weeks, and good wishes and cards are welcome while she's staying close to home and healing in a neck brace. Terry Lynn Brewer's cat, Midnight, crossed the Rainbow Bridge on Tuesday after battling cancer. Terry Lynn would appreciate kind words and cards. And also, Ian Shanklin is having his dog put down to sleep this morning, and he and Nellie, who's accompanying him, are asking everybody to offer him strength at this time. Janet West is doing well with good care in her home in Arizona, but misses her Omaha friends at First Unitarian. She's asking for cards or letters, and her address is 15292 West Campbell Road in Goodyear, Arizona, and I think it's also available through the office. And Dave Richardson is currently in hospital at Bergen Mercy and hopes to be out very soon. He's recovering from an infection as a result of a procedure. And he asked for no visitors, please, but hopes that he'll be out soon. And he and his wife, Colleen, are both alternating medical procedures and taking care of each other this summer. And also Lynn and Tommy Thompson's good friend, Corky Overfield, were asked to keep in our hearts as she transitions to Comfort Cares this week. And I think Colin's going to read some from the online crowd.
Yeah, we have a couple here of, have one from Nia Magnisana, and she says, I want to thank those within and outside the church who have helped me and my family during a challenging time. And we have one from Cindy Nether, who does not like our switch to YouTube. It says it really gets people like me are being spectators instead of participants, so maybe we can do something with that. Other than that, don't see anything else here.
And
so we'll see if anything comes in.
And I think we had some cards available, but I don't see any at this time. Okay. All right. So we'll keep all of those people in our thoughts. And now we have a reading by Dustin.
This is the Orphic hymn for the Divine Mother, one of the Greek Orphic hymns. Divinely praised Mother of the deathless gods, nourisher of all things, by our prayers come to this place. Queen and mighty goddess, yoke your swiftly running chariot to the bull-devouring lions, many named holding a scepter. The goddess of the great axis of the sky, you sit on the throne in the middle of the world. You hold the earth and bring sweet nourishment to mortal creatures, and from you the race of gods sprang forth, and mortals as well. By you the rivers take strength, and the seas. You are invoked as Hestia, called upon as the giver of bliss, of all good things to mortals, since you give generously. Come to the ritual, Queen delighting in drums, tamer of all, the Phrygian savior, and bed companion of Kronos. Child of heaven, most honored, you support life and love the frenzy-causing gadfly. Come enjoy, you who graced us with piety. Hello and good morning. Let me first of all express how very honored I was to be asked to speak with you here today. Towards the end of her life, my grandmother, Maisel Boroff, became a very active member of Second Unitarian Church here in Omaha. Her spiritual journey has been a great inspiration to me, and I've always admired the Unitarian embrace of spiritual truths present within diverse traditions. So again, thank you, particularly to Peg and to Mary Kay for inviting me to speak with you guys this morning. In preparation for this presentation, I was thinking about how best to talk about the solstice, animism, and reciprocal relationship with the landscape around us. I think the best way to begin is with a story, and it may seem as though this story is only tangentially related to the topic, but I hope that by the end of my talk, it will serve as an avatar for the whole thing, this story will. So 4 years ago, my wife Clarissa and I had the great good fortune to be traveling in Ireland. We were in the south of Ireland in County Cork, just to the west of Kinsale, on a beach called Gary Lucas Beach. And I was looking at the beach, and on the shore, there was a bunch of little white quartz pebbles, very like this white quartz pebble right here in my hand. And I thought, I'd like to take some of those home. I'd like to take some of those rocks. They're very pretty. But it didn't feel right just to walk down to the beach and just start sticking rocks in my pocket, So I went down to the shore, and below the high tide line, for those of you who are concerned with this sort of thing, I began to build a cairn, a little pile of stones that I was collecting. And as I did that, I started to talk to the sea around me. And at first I talked to the sea very generally, but as I went on, I began to talk directly to Manannan Mac Lir. This is the Irish manifestation of the sea, the Irish sea god. Mac Lir in Gaelic means the sea's son, son of the sea. So I said to him, Manannan, I'd really, really like to collect some of these stones, and I'd like your permission to do that. And I said, if you'll grant that to me, I promise, no matter what I find on this beach, I'll just take some of these quartz pebbles, nothing else. I could find a gold ring, and I'd just leave it right where it was. And as I finished building the cairn, and as I finished my remarks to Manannan, a black dog with a blue collar, and this is a 100% true story, walked right up to my wife and dropped a rock at her feet. It's 100% true. This dog did not want to be fed. He didn't want to be pet. All he wanted was to bring us rocks, have us throw them, and then he'd fetch them and bring them back to us. He followed us around for about an hour, and just a rock hound, a literal rock hound. And now I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that that dog belonged to someone in the village, and he just liked coming down to the beach to play with the tourists. At the same time, there is zero doubt in my mind that that dog was sent as a messenger from Manannan Mac Lir to tell me, yeah, go ahead, take a couple rocks. The synchronicity was too clear to be mistaken for anything else. So I did. I collected some of these quartz stones, just like this one here. This is one of them. In Gaelic, the word, and I'm going to murder this word, the word for quartz is cloch grania, and it means the stone of the sun. That's what it means. And in Ireland, the quartz stones have a lot of associations with the sun. So it's fitting that we're here today on a Sunday, the day associated with the sun in the Western esoteric tradition, to discuss the mythic aspects of the solstice. This Tuesday, June 21st, marks the summer solstice. In a purely materialist sense, that solstice, at least in the northern hemisphere, marks the moment when the Earth's north pole is closest to the sun and is consequently the longest day of the year. Mythically, however, the time of the year surrounding the solstice has traditionally held great importance for an array of cultures and traditions around the world. From megalithic Britain to Bronze Age Scandinavia, from the ancestral Puebloan people of the American Southwest to the Mississippian people of the ancient Midwest, we see this important date marked and noted in both architecture and burial practices. In the Christian tradition, this time of the year is marked by St. John's Day, celebrating the birth of John the Baptist 6 months before his cousin Jesus. while the fairy faith of Britain and Ireland recognized a number of taboos and ritualized interactions with plants at this time of year. William Shakespeare was certainly keyed into the spiritual significance of the day. It is no mistake that his play most directly associated with the fairies and sentient elemental spirits takes place at midsummer. The reason for all this attention given to the year's longest day, I think, extends beyond a simple recognition of the agricultural importance of the division of the year. Certainly, the oldest archaeological site clearly and explicitly associated with the solstice, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, predates agriculture by nearly 1,000 years. I think, rather, that if we would like to know how our ancestors related to cosmically significant events such as the solstices and equinoxes, we should turn our attention to the events happening in the natural world. I invite you to take a walk through a field, a prairie, or a woodland at this time of year. Observe the profusion of life at the pinnacle of growth and the beauty present all around us right now. Watch a thunderstorm approaching from the west, full of water and electricity, the very building blocks of consciousness. The earth, as a mother and a life giver, and indeed the community of life as a whole, recognizes this time as the point in the cycle of the year when the verdant spring reaches its apogee. Soon enough come seeds and fruits. Soon enough comes the drying and browning of late summer. And then comes autumn, and finally winter will bring her long sleep to the land. But now, right now, and on through the harvest, every tree is full and green, every meadow a riot of color and perfume as wildflowers lift their blossoms hopefully to the waiting bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. Your ancestors knew all of this. That much is clear. But I'll posit something else as well. I think that not only did they know about the cycle of solstices and equinoxes and how they related to the events transpiring in the natural world, I think they knew something which we as a culture have forgotten. They knew that this was holy. When we look at seasonal practices recorded in folklore collections of the 19th and early 20th century, we see a great many charms associated with plants. A good example concerning midsummer is St. John's wort. On the morning of St. John's Day or the solstice, the flowers would be plucked with a prayer. Often these prayers acknowledged the spirit of the plant directly. The flowers would then be carried home, oftentimes under the left armpit, interestingly enough, where they would be tied into bundles using red thread and hung above doors and windows to prevent evil spirits and melancholy from entering the home over the course of the year. Interestingly, in the Western tradition, no plant is more readily associated with driving out evil than is St. John's wort. So it's easy for us modern people to look at these sort of practices as a quaint superstition carried out by rustic folk who didn't have a clear picture of how the world worked. Certainly, that's how the Victorian and Edwardian folklorists viewed them. But I invite you to take a deeper look. St. John's wort has been associated with the sun since antiquity, both in the classical world as well as Northern Europe. Its brilliant yellow color, combined with the fact that it blooms around the solstice, have made the correspondence an easy one to arrive at. Binding the plant with red thread serves to empower and enliven the charm. Red has been associated with sacralizing objects for a very long time, since the Paleolithic, in fact. What's happening in this simple folkloric charm is a complex, symbolic interaction with the plant, an imaginal engagement with the living world. By entering into this sort of ritualized interaction with wild nature, we speak to creation in the language that she most readily speaks to us, which is symbolism. Symbolic thinking, while perhaps not entirely unique to humanity, is nevertheless one of our defining characteristics. Symbolic thinking is what allowed early humans to see a line of deer tracks extending into the forest and to know that at the other end of those tracks there was an animal waiting. By engaging symbolically, ritually, and indeed conversationally with the living world around us, we enter into relationships established and maintained by our ancestors over many, many generations. This is the heart of animism, an ontology predicated on the idea that the ground of being is a community, interlaced and interconnected. One thing, yet diverse and multitudinous. Certainly, the animist view of the universe isn't unique to indigenous or pagan communities. It's present in the Christian tradition as well. From the psalmist proclaiming that the rocks and rivers sing the praises of God to St. Francis of Assisi, whose Canticle of the Sun is as elegant an expression of animist thought as has ever been written. It is, in fact, the default way that human beings have experienced the phenomenal world since the Paleolithic. The universe of the animist is full to the rafters with awareness, agency, and intelligence. And now, right now, you might be saying to yourself, Dustin, that's all very interesting. That's super cool. But how does that relate to me, to our time, to the place where we live right now? Friends, it is my very firm belief that the way that we story the world matters. For more than 100,000 years, we shared the story that the earth, the stars, the sun, and the moon, and all of our diverse relatives here on the face of the Mother Earth were alive, interactive, and intelligent, with agendas which may or may not align with our own. The stars brimmed with meaning, and that meaning was manifest in the land, the sea, and the sky around us. Every spring was alive with the force of life bubbling up from the deep within the body of the earth. Every forest full of the watchful sentience we've all felt whilst alone in the woods. You guys have felt that, right? Alone in a wild place, that feeling of being watched by something. On the edge of the sea, rounded pebbles collaborated with the morning sun to shimmer and create a luminous path along the shore, a path one might follow into the other world, the invisible world which is always right here, next to us, ready for us to open our eyes to the other way of seeing. I'd like to suggest that when we as a culture abandoned this old animate way of interacting with the world, we lost something. And perhaps what we've lost was important and valuable. I think the thing we've lost is relationship. The Lakota recognize that the world is composed of relatives whom they acknowledge in prayer. St. Francis addressed all the elements of creation as my brother or my sister. In the Canticle of the Sun, he writes, "Praised be you, my Lord, through our sister and mother, the earth, who sustains and nurtures us." Isn't that beautiful? Our sister and mother, 2 points of relationship with the ground beneath our feet. In Ireland, there are families who are descended from seals and wolves. Even the Gaelic word for wolf, macchira, means the son of the land. All over the world, these relationships we've built with the community of life lie waiting for us to remember them. However, sadly, and to our detriment, we've largely forgot them. And behold the results. In Iowa, the state where I lead most of my programs, the land is over 97% dedicated to agricultural use, with significantly less than 1% in public conservation. Iowa is the state most altered by human activity. Available habitat for wild nature is extremely limited, and every year it seems to grow smaller. Our rivers are polluted, and annually we lose 5.5 tons of topsoil per acre. I put forward to you that these are symptoms of the loss of a relational understanding of the world and the community of life within it. But my friends, I think the beautiful thing is that your engagement can benefit that community. Traditionally, animist practice has involved the giving of offerings. Right relationship with the more than human world is founded on reciprocity. A gift for a gift, as the Norse god Odin says in the Havamal. If you would establish a communicative relationship with the more than human world this midsummer, Why not offer some of your time to one of the many excellent conservation organizations we're blessed with here in the Midwest? I know Pot County Parks can always use volunteers. Or perhaps offer some of your yard to plants and pollinators and wildlife. Plant some local native wildflowers and watch to see who shows up. Soon flowers bring insects, and the insects birds, and just like that, you've created habitat and built community. You've offered the world back a bit of what you've taken from it. And finally, this Tuesday, which is the solstice, should you have the time, I invite you to go outside, that's important, and watch the sunrise. Watch the world come alive as the star whose fire gives us life rises above the horizon. Feel the warmth and the light wash over you. Open your senses deeply and fully to the community of life around you. Be with your brothers and sisters as they turn their faces towards the sun, and know that nestled there, in the fellowship of the land, you are right where you belong, one among many, an integral part of all that is, and know deep, deep in your heart that this is holy. Thank you.
And now we're actually going to have a little elderflower communion. Dustin has a little tincture that he made, and we have a little bit of elderflower liqueur. It's diluted with water, and we also have a non-alcoholic elderflower syrup. So I'm going to move the table and invite you guys to come up, and I think Dustin has a couple words he wants to say to. Okay, we'll do it down here.
So just to bless this drink that we're about to take together, I'd like to say the nature-y bits from St. Patrick's Lorica. This is written by St. Patrick in the 5th century, and here it is. I arise this day with the strength of heaven, with the light of the sun, the radiance of the moon, with the splendor of fire, the speed of lightning, the swiftness of the wind, with the depth of the sea, the steadfastness of the earth, and with the firmness of rock. Amen.
We invite everyone to come up and get a little bit of the elderflower mixture. Good medicine. For summer. All right, I think we have we have to extinguish the chalice. All right, we have closing words as we extinguish the chalice. Beloved, as we depart this holy space, nourished and renewed, let us live into our dreams and expand our circle of justice to encompass all of creation. Let us love one another and the earth, for as a body is animated through the relationships among its many parts, so the divine is made manifest among us through our love. Remember this love, live in hope, and go in peace. Amen and blessed be. And our congregational hymn is our final song, and it's For the Beauty of the Earth, hymn number 21. Thanks, everybody, and I hope you have a nice summer solstice.